Hey everybody, Eddie the Tattooed Realtor here. So I'm bringing you another book review. You can see it, kind of, 5 mistakes. The 5 mistakes every investor makes and how to avoid them, by Peter Mallouk. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Peter. So anyways, I wanted to do filming in a different location. I typically don't film outside, figured play around with it a little bit, change up the lighting settings. So this is what I decided to do. So that's why we're outside. So the 5 mistakes every investor makes. Bring you into my mindset. I've been really wanting to get into and understand more about investing as a whole. We do invest privately, through Roth IRAs and stuff, and we do have a financial advisor, even though this book has definitely made me rethink some of that stuff, or a lot of it. And I believe that you should have a diversified portfolio for your retirement or for whatever goals you're trying to set. Maybe have a mixture of real estate that you own and rent out, a mixture of stocks and bonds, and a mixture of other options that, whatever works for you and your family. So this book I got about 2 weeks ago. Today is, I don't even know what today. I think today is the 3rd. So I got this book on the, before I went on vacation. So I got it actually on the day of, so the 15th. So it took me about 15 days to read. And I wanted to start looking more into more about investors and how they think, what they think. And I went in looking for a different book at the library, but I jumped on Amazon really quickly and Goodreads, and I found this one by Peter. And I've enjoyed it immensely. This book really helps the individual who's a novice at investing get a really good idea of what it's all about. What I could recommend, first off, in terms of readability, this book is extremely simple and actually a joy to read. I found myself wanting to spend time with this author and wanting to finish the book from start to finish, giving myself the objective. Total length of the book, I believe it's 160, for the references, is 166 pages. It's broken into chapters or mistakes. I believe there was a total of 5, obviously. The contents, I don't know if you can see it, but the contents are broken down so perfectly. He broke down the page numbers of if you're looking for something specific or in particular. It just is perfect. It's made up of 6 mistakes, and then the conclusion and the reference and the index. The index, obviously, of great use if you're trying to refer to specific sections of the book. Readability, 100%, 10 out of 10, super readable. In terms of why you should read this book, I recommend this book because it gives a well-rounded view of investments, what you should look for as an investor in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, so on and so forth, and the things to watch out for. I've been really trying to focus in on understanding the pitfalls and mistakes in every single venture that I do before I do it, so that I can save myself from that. I don't know why I've been focusing more on the mistakes part first, and then kind of like the good things to do. Maybe just because I want to save myself from the pitfalls first. So that's why this book is extremely exceptional. It'll definitely open your eyes to the misconceptions and the lies that we've been fed our entire lives about investing. To give you a little synopsis, just walk you through really quickly so you know what you're walking into. Mistake number 1, market timing. Mistake number 2, active trading. Mistake number 3, understanding performance and financial information. Mistake number 4, letting yourself get in the way. Mistake number 5, working with the wrong advisor. Mistake number 6, getting it right. And the conclusions, let's roll. I really enjoyed all the mistakes, but in particular, when I got started in the book, I was like, man, why is Peter continually harping on this market timing section? The page itself makes up, 42 pages. The other chapters really, they're long, around the same length, but not as long as that, I don't think. I think because market timing is that misconception that you can actually predict when the market's going to be at its highest and get out, and then when the market's going to be at its lowest and then buy. And all these analytical studies that he gives are just amazing because he gives us this insight about these lies that we've been told. The next thing about active trading, I really love that part about active trading and this idea of constantly moving money around or constantly buying and selling, buying and selling. When I started understanding more and more concepts, because along with reading this, I started researching a lot about Warren Buffett, and I started researching a lot about just the different indexes and, the different, different options in terms of investments. And I really began to understand that this concept that the truly affluent employ, of course, it has to be in line with your plan, is really not rocket science. This idea, in my mind, at least for our plan, I created our plan after I read the book, as Peter references that later on in the book, that you need to create your financial plan so you know where you're heading. And I think I really want to employ that in all my companies across the board, real estate, as well as all the other companies that I run and own, about having this goal, this set. But in the sake of argument about investors, investing definitely has to have a goal. And this idea of buying and holding. There's one quote in here, I believe, every chapter or mistake starts with a quote, or section starts with a quote, which I thought was amazing because it just hits the point home even further. And the quote goes along the lines of, various topics. Like, the one thing that I liked a lot was Warren Buffett's quote, where he talks about, like, my favorite period of holding is forever. Because of the correction that the market makes, even though there are these valleys and these peaks, it's a constant upward trend. So it's constantly moving up. And it really opened my eyes quite a bit. The thing also about knowing your investment advisor, he gave amazing tips to ask and questions to ask, and the answer that should be given that's correct to financial advisors. The idea of like a advisor versus a broker versus there's all these different names that they go by. And in today's day and age, that is kind of like what's happening, this epidemic of people who are quote unquote experts in fields such as financial advice, that really have no reason to be giving that advice, first of all. And secondly, the advice is jaded, whether or not they're trying to sell you like a preferred stock with their company, or they're trying to trade so much so that their commission goes up because they make money in every single trade, so on and so forth. So the points brought up in the book are very easy to understand. They are practical and simple steps to take. That's what I loved about it. Would I recommend you read the book? Obviously, I think you should read the book. It's 167 pages. Even if you're a slow reader, shouldn't take you very long to get through. On a side note, after I finished the book yesterday, which would be the second, I always like to reach out and email the authors and see who responds back. Now, mind you, I reached out to Mr. Mallouk I want to say I finished the book like around 10 or something like that. I was on my Instagram, so I don't remember exactly when it was, but I reached out to Peter, and Peter actually responded back. I couldn't freaking believe it. I emailed this guy asking him a question. This is a good author, renowned author, and he emails me back. That just blows me away and allows me to advocate this book even more, that the author cares enough to respond back to his readers. And I just asked a simple question. This man obviously has big things going on in his life, and he took the time to respond to me, which I thought was amazing. So, not to continue on to a path that, I don't want to ramble on. Would I recommend it? Yes. It's simplistic, easy to understand. Peter actually reached out to me. Giant bug just hit me. So Peter actually reached out to me. And if you're looking to get into investing, I definitely recommend you do this. Of course, there are other books in the series that you should read, which I'm getting to at a later date that I'm actually already starting. But yeah, take it and run with it. Oh, final thought. The last chapter, actually the last little section I believe he referenced. Let me get to it really quickly. I believe it's in the section, The Ultimate Mistake. The Ultimate Mistake. Ultimate Mistake, page 161 to 163. And this section is remarkable. I'm a person that has a tendency to overwork. I'm very compulsive when it comes to those things. And he brings up at the end of this that you need to live a little, or live a lot. You need to take time to enjoy what you've worked on and worked for. I just saw a post on Instagram where it had like someone in those, I forget what those boats are called, like catamarans or those gondolas in Italy. And the people in the gondola were actually asleep. And it said something like, enjoy your retirement while you're young or something like that. And this section really stuck out to me because it made me realize that it's important to set aside time in your life to enjoy what you worked for. You've worked extremely hard and diligent with what you've done. And I know we could all do better, I could do better, but this section definitely hit on the point that that's something we should focus on. So anyways, in closing guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And yeah, I'll put the link in the description of where you can purchase the book on Amazon or other websites, eBay, whatever. I recommend you get it from your public library system. It's a great resource tool that you can make use of. So I hope you guys have a great Saturday. It's Saturday today. I hope that you're doing something that you love with people that you love. So do what you love and love what you do, guys. I'll catch you later. Bye.